And good morning. Another day. What a day yesterday was with that weather. Oh my gosh. And there's still some nasty weather out there today. Not as severe as yesterday. I mean, I was getting notifications throughout the night and this morning, and it wasn't good. I can tell you that right off the bat. I mean, unfortunately, there was tragic stuff coming in from Tennessee, and the weather was unbelievable yesterday. And I want to thank all the TikTokers for participating. And yes, I tried to do my best trying to get all the locations that everybody was asking about, but it was overwhelming. But I tried to do my best. That's all I can do. But it was, I never seen with the outbreak that happened in Arkansas. It was, I never seen anything like it. And as you heard my friend maybe at some point, he knows I've been doing this for a long time. He knows when it comes to weather, I'm pretty good at it. No one's perfect. Not even the professionals when they use models. But oh my gosh, Tennessee, Missouri, and like look at the map. There's still a lot out there, and a lot of the activity has now shifted more to the east. Now it's early. It's not even 10:30 a.m. But before I get into this more, I gotta put out the pop outs for TikTok. But you were all awesome yesterday. And thank you for your patience. And for those, that took any, I hope I was helpful in helping people where these were affecting them. And they took the proper precautions. That's what you want. That's what, this is not about. I mean, if you, first of all, you don't exaggerate the weather. There are people's lives at risk. This is serious stuff. But it's to help people, give them the heads up of what possibly could be coming their way. And they prepare accordingly. Or they make phone calls to people that they know to tell them, listen, you've got bad weather. Do you know? Or a neighbor, an elderly neighbor or a disabled person that needs help. I mean, there's a lot of reasons. But I have to say, TikTok, you all rocked yesterday. And I think many of us did the right thing. So, yeah. Now, today I'm going to keep an eye on the weather. And I don't think we're going to get anything here in the Hudson Valley, New York, as far as severe. But you can see there's still a lot of nasty weather out there. Now it's shifted east in Kentucky. And you can see, now I'm going to look at the other app. But there's still some nasty weather out there in Tennessee. Look at this. Now, I don't think this is severe. I'm going to have to check that other app. But, I mean, it's early. A lot of this could develop into some possibility of severe thunderstorms. Oh, wow. It's coming up. See, by me, there's nothing even here yet. But this front still has to push through my area. Will it develop? Look at the storms offshore. I was going to go bike riding, but I just walked my dog and nah. It's damp out. It's chilly. I'm going to have to probably put a fire in the wood stove. It's not a nice day to be out there bike riding. There'll be plenty of other days. Today is not one of them. So I'm just going to sit here, maybe game for a little while, but definitely keep an eye on this weather. Because there's still a lot of people that could be affected by storms today. Oh my God, Amol. I just seen your comments. Actually, Amol, on a serious level, he likes to joke with me a lot. He likes to give me a hard time. He's on the tube right now. But it was serious yesterday. It was bad in a lot of places. So, like I said, if it even helps one person, it's all that matters. Really. If it helps one person. So those storms yesterday were, those tornadoes, there was so many outbreaks of radar indicated tornadoes. It was, when it all popped up in Arkansas around 6 p.m. my time, something like that, and they just all just appeared all around Arkansas. I was like, I've never seen so many tornado warnings pop up at once. It was incredible. And not incredible in a good way. Just like, whoa. All right, let me see. What am I missing? This one, I think. And good morning to those on the other platforms as well. I have this one already. What am I missing? Oh, I'm missing this one. It's a lot of pop-outs. And it was great that a lot of people took it seriously. TikTok. I didn't, like I said, 99.9 because there were so many people asking about their location. I saw one clown remark. You're always going to get the clown remarks. But out of all the stuff that was going on yesterday, and so many people, because I was glancing, because I was focused on the screens, I only seen one dumb comment. Because you get it. You're going to get it. It happens in all the other ones too. But everybody was concerned. Some were scared and afraid. And they were all just eager to get the information about what was going on in their location. Everybody was focused. And that was, I have to say, that was incredible. So again, I commend all of you on TikTok that participated yesterday. And like I said, I hope it was helpful to you or people that you know. What's up, Michael? Yeah, right? Yesterday was intense weather. Yesterday was... And look, the map, it's still active, especially down here with the reds. I mean, and I'm going to look at the other app. Look at this. Look at this. This is now. Look at this line right here, and that's called a bow effect. When it bends like that, those are strong winds ahead of that. Oklahoma. I mean, there's still a lot going on today with the weather. It's just different areas. And in some cases, it's in the same areas. Look at Arkansas. Arkansas, this has been going on for 12, 18 hours. And they must be experiencing flooding here. Yet it was in Central. It was more near Little Rock, west of Little Rock, north of Little Rock, Central. But now it's more focused even to a little bit to the north. But it's almost in the same exact places as it was yesterday. So here's Little Rock right here. It's almost affecting the same exact areas as it was last night. So can you imagine the constant weather like this for hours and hours? So those people are going through a lot right now because they're getting heavy. It's not even about the threat of severe weather. It's the flooding. I can't imagine. But look at this bow. That's what they call it. It almost looks like a derecho, but it's not a derecho. But you see how when it bends like this, that means there's a lot of wind. Right here, there is a lot of wind. When it bends like that, that's not good. So I'm sure there's probably a lot going on right now, which I'm gonna check. So there are 11 alerts. There are 4 severe thunderstorm warnings already. Oh, you did? You installed Omega? A lot of people were asking me on TikTok about that yesterday. What app are you using? Radar Omega. It's an excellent app for weather. And I only have so many overlays on it because then it'll just look cluttery. It'll look like a mess. A lot of people won't understand it. So I keep it simple. But you can put so many layers on this. I mean, even in the options with the radar, you can do so many different little things with this thing. But I tend, like I said, to keep it simple so people can kind of look at it. Like, let's just do it. But I like the 2D. And like I said, I pay for extra stuff here. So I'm going to go down all this severe weather here. I'm just seeing if there's any other severe weather alerts. See, these storms are already starting to pick up. I don't know if it's... See, they have experimental... This is a 3-dimensional look at stuff where you can flip it and look at it. You can look at the storm. You can see the cloud tops, how high they are. Because believe it or not, that means a lot. The higher the cloud tops, the stronger the storm cell is in elevation. So it's actually telling you. This is actually pretty cool. The 3D model. So again, this is, but I don't want to overcomplicate it for people. Single site radar, we could do this. But this app, I mean, the functions of this app are incredible. Incredible. I'm just doing this right now to give you a wide perspective of what's going on right now. So yes, this app is really good. Exactly. You have it simple and easy for no weather people. So what that weather people that don't know weather can understand it, like the specific details. You just want to keep it general so people can understand what's going on. You keep it as simple as possible and just tell them, look, this is moving your way. You show it. And there's, like I said, there's nasty weather out there right now. I mean, this has to be watched throughout the day because there's still a lot of warm, moist air coming from the Gulf. And that's where this is coming from, that flow. So this, it's already saying that there's severe thunderstorm warnings out there. And yesterday started the same way, but it's not going to be like yesterday. All right, let's go back to 2D. And you see there's all kinds of stuff down here you could mess with. But again, you want to keep it simple. Because I can just keep putting overlays. I do like to see where the fronts are. That's why you see those lines. Because along a front, low pressures can develop. And again, I don't want to overcomplicate it. See the lows? And then you'll see highs in blue. Wherever they are right now, there's highs. So anywhere like there's a front with a low system, a low pressure, in that front, you could have little lows develop. it's unstable. It's where the cold air is clashing with the warm air. So anywhere along that front, you can see those L's pop up because it's a front, if that makes sense. So that's why, but there's still a lot going on. And another alert just got issued. It's a flash flood warning. And I bet you in Arkansas, they got to have, look at Tennessee. They're all in Tennessee right now. All these flash flood. Because this place has been getting hit like Arkansas. I'm surprised there's none in Arkansas. But Tennessee. And that's going to be a major concern, the flood. Especially today. Now we can look. I'm going to look at Windy first. There's so many models to look at. Another one that's good and it's free, but I pay for it because I get some premium features in it, is Windy. Windy is a great app. It's free. You can do a lot of good things with the free version. Let me take myself off camera so I could show you better. Windy is excellent. So I look at the winds because that tells me this is the Euro model. If you use this, use the Euro. Don't use the American. The Euro's better. The GFS is the American. See it on the bottom? It's going to be the same right now because it's the same time. And even then it's a little different. But see all this warm, moist air coming in from the Gulf and affecting this area right here? And that's where you're seeing a lot of that storminess right now. It's because of that. There's a lot of energy coming in from the Gulf. And up here, there's still this storm system, this low, and the high pressure is bringing up a lot of warm, moist air up here, and it's interacting with this storm system. So there could be storms that develop in here today. So that's how you read a map. And that's without even seeing clouds or any other stuff. Just by looking at this, I can tell where the storminess is going to be. Just by looking at this. And then you could also look at satellite. Now, the dark gray clouds is where you have, just like it's popped up now. You see this? That's where you know there's intensity. The cloud tops. You see how it's a darker gray here? See it? And sometimes, especially in a hurricane, you can see the puffiness from the satellite imagery of the high cloud tops, which tells you it's very intense. It's strong. Sometimes you can see it, but even here you can see the darker grays. And where the darker grays are, what do you see? And you can also see the potential of development in these darker clouds throughout the day. Just by looking at a satellite imagery, you can see where the likelihood is of development through the day. And it would be right here. And of course, all in here. And you could see the clearing behind it, but it's that Gulf air that's coming in and fueling this, along with that system to the north, and then obviously radar. And this kind of tells you where it is, but this isn't as defined of a radar as the other one is. Now this is a new little feature, Radar Plus, but again, these are just add-ons. A lot of them are beta, but you can see right there where the activity is from the lightning strikes. And if I put the sound on, you would hear the tick, tick, tick. Every time you see a lightning strike, it has the sound effect to go with it. So these are different ways of looking and analyzing the weather. And then you put the whole picture together. And let's just check one other thing. Let's see what AccuWeather says about what happened yesterday. And I'm not even going to read it because I'm not going to get... Look at this. This atmospheric... What did I say about the flooding? That's the real problem now. And unfortunately, this happened. And I'm not going to get into those details. And I'm not going to show it because I'm not going to do that. I can't do that. So, atmospheric river to trigger central U.S. flooding that may become life-threatening historic through Saturday night. So this is going to sit. This rain, this unsettled weather is going to sit over this region. So if you live in this area, that's where they're saying there's a possibility of catastrophic flooding in here. And somebody mentioned this in TikTok yesterday. And I hope that they're watching, because I remember looking for a lot of these places, even near Louisville. A lot of people in TikTok yesterday. Southern heat through Friday. Very warm. And that's the moisture belt right there. That's pretty much. So how much rain are they saying here? Oh my gosh. 12 to 18 inches right in here. West of Nashville up to Louisville. East of Springfield and even Little Rock. Oh, there's Arkansas. There's the flooding in Arkansas. So they're going to get a lot of rain. Look at that. That's counting from yesterday to Saturday night. Greatest flood risk in this area here. The same thing. Look, Arkansas, Little Rock, through Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, Missouri, all in here. Greatest flood risk. So that's why I said before I even started looking at this. Now it's about the flooding. It's not just about the storms. The rivers overrunning. Because all this water has to go somewhere, right? And see, this is dangerous severe thunderstorms to continue. The same setup will lead to multiple days of severe thunderstorms in the central states. Another round of severe storms will be in store for a portion of the Mississippi and Ohio valleys on Thursday. Some communities may be under both a tornado warning and a flash flood warning at the same time. So today it's another day of severe weather. And like I said, I'm not going to highlight, I'm not going to show images, I'm not going to do that because people are suffering and I'm not going to do that. But you can see more severe weather. And it's pretty much showing the same thing. Severe, here's the severe threat right in here. Now you don't see the high, thank God, we don't see that. But there's a moderate risk right in here today. Look, Arkansas again. Into Tennessee. Tomorrow, it's up more to the north. But look, Little Rock. I mean, look at Tennessee and Arkansas. I mean, this is going on for days. And Saturday, again, now it's even south, Mississippi, into Alabama. Look at this. The same areas. Almost exactly the same areas tomorrow. Here Saturday, it shifts more to the north. So you need, anybody that lives in these areas, you need to watch your weather for the next few days. It wasn't just yesterday. This pattern's going to continue for the next few days. So if you live in Arkansas, this weather is going to affect you for the next few days. Tennessee, Kentucky, maybe portions of Indiana. That's where all of this is happening. So please, it's not over yet. And you just seen it on the screen, what they're saying. Michael says, yeah, yesterday I was watching the storms over in Illinois for family members to keep them informed. See, that's the point. If you know somebody, you want to tell them, listen, I don't know if you're aware of this, but you have some really bad storms. They may not watch the news. They may not have an app on their phone that tells them about the weather. They may not be tech savvy and they don't stay informed. They see the sun is out, everything's beautiful, and they don't even know what's on the way to them. So it is important. I mean, you can help save someone's life, literally, or at the least have them prepared for possible power outages. Tell them don't travel in this weather. Don't go out. If you have to go to the store while it's still okay weather-wise, go to the store and get your supplies now. You need medication, because another thing, people may not realize this. When there is a severe weather threat, I don't know how, I know this state does it. Some states will refill your prescriptions even though they're not ready to be refilled. In a situation like that, where there's a severe weather outbreak or an emergency, they will refill your prescriptions. And now I know they do it here in New York. I don't know how they do it in other states. But there are states that do that. They will refill your medications in the event of an emergency, like a hurricane or even a severe weather outbreak that may last days. There's threat of power outages. A state might declare a state of emergency in certain counties. You're probably eligible to get your medication if you need to. I would check with your local pharmacist or wherever you get your medication and ask them. If I can't get to the pharmacy because of these storms and threat of power outages, is it possible to refill my medications early? Ask. It doesn't hurt for those who take medications. So there's a lot of things to look at when you're dealing with this. But like I said today, all right, we already have a tornado warning, and it's right in front of us. That just got issued. Right there. Already. The first one of the morning that I've seen. This one right here. East of Lebanon. So, look how far to the north this is. I mean, already. Incredible. All on this piece right here. So, and there's a nasty cell up here. It's a severe thunderstorm warning. So there's development already occurring for the possibility of severe storms. Loop near Nashville, it's getting intense. Let's look. Yeah, there's a lot of storms up and around there. Well, look. That tornado warning is east of Nashville. But that's moving, I would assume, upward. Yeah, it's moving more to the east today. Wow, they just had a line go through Nashville. That was nasty. But now it's this here. So Tennessee, Kentucky. I mean, this is moving right into Kentucky. And it's early. Daylight heating warms the lower surface. That rises, the heat rises. It affects the intensity of these storms. So just with that alone, the likelihood is this will get more intense as the day progresses. Especially if it's sunny in front of this, because now the heat is building up. Which I need to look at that satellite imagery. What does it look like ahead of it? All right, we need to go to windy. And we need to see satellite. So let's see what it looks like ahead. So see these breaks in here where the sun can heat up the lower levels? All that does is fuel, because the heat rises and helps create these thunderstorm tops, clouds. So you have that heating going on, which helps fuels these cells. You could look that up. I'm not going to get into that whole thing on how the heat, the sun, affects the growth of thunderstorms. That's something you could research on your own time. But that is part of it. There's a lot of elements that come involved with cold, warm air clashing, the moisture that's in the air, low pressure, intensification of a storm system itself. There's so much involved. But yeah, that you could see that the sun is out ahead of this. This is heating up the lower levels, and that heat rises. Especially if it rained and it's moist. It's like fog. It goes back into the atmosphere. The evaporation. So you can see where that tornado, well, let's see, Nashville. I can't even see it here. See this one? It's telling you the weather down here for Nashville. Look at Nashville's weather for the next... Look at all the rain. I can't see this monitor too well. It's all the way on this side. But you can see the forecast. It's like nasty. But this is already... All right, let's get rid of these. And remember, there are severe storms forecasted for the next few days, pretty much in the same areas. I mean, that's tomorrow. This is today. This is tomorrow. This is Saturday. And this is Sunday, Saturday night. So the next few days, almost in the same areas. So for the next, 48 to 72 hours, you need to watch your weather. Still, in these areas. And it's right there. Now that's the only one, because it was 12 when we... There are 2 severe thunderstorm warnings, which one is right near that one. And then you have the 1 tornado warning here, east of Nashville. This one. You could see it too. Now let's see if there's a camera here. We have a camera. Look at this. It's close to this camera location. Now, anything you see as a tornado warning here is radar indicated. It does not mean that it's been visually sighted. It's radar indicated. The radar has detected rotation that depicts a tornado. So it's not like someone's seen a visual. They send out teams to verify that a tornado actually did touch ground. But these are radar indicated rotation. So, but already, look at this. And like I said, this camera is not far from, and it looks like it's heading toward this camera location. So here's the storm. Here's the camera. There's something here too. Let me see what that is. Let's zoom in a little. So here's that camera. And here's what, I don't know if it's still rotation in there, but that's that camera. Then there are other cameras around. There's no storm chasers out here right now. Look at this. Look where it's predicted. So this is like the closest camera to that. Now, I don't know which way this is facing. You could see the rain starting. Usually if all them, they can move the camera. They know there's a tornado in the area. They're watching. They just moved the camera. Look at this. Exactly, radar indicated tornado. I'm gonna take myself off the screen right now and keep an eye on this, because they are controlling the movement of the camera, because there is a radar indicated tornado very close to this camera's location right now. And this is east of Nashville, Tennessee. And it's moving east northeast, more to the east today over here. It's still moving northerly, but more of a northeasterly track, so at an angle. That could be it, what was left of it, or still is right in there. So this is the area. So I'm just gonna observe it and see what happens here. It could be passing to their west based on the camera, the way it's facing. This might pass, because based on the sun and the sunlight, this could be looking southwest, if I had to guess, or maybe more to the west. So this may pass to the west of the camera, if that makes any sense. It's yeah, I was gonna say we need to see more of that side. That's why I was putting the mouse on that side. That's the side we should be looking at. I'll tell you one thing, I'm not liking this, because it looks like these clouds are generally heading in the direction of this camera. If you look at the clouds at the top, it's almost coming right at this camera's location. It's hard to tell if those are just simple raindrops or if there's hail mixing in right now. It kind of looks like there's hail mixing in, but that could just be the raindrops. So for those who might be just joining us here, this is right near east of Nashville, Tennessee. Try which one? Colesville camera? I don't want to get away from this camera because we're right on it. Where's that camera? I'm not seeing. I see one way out here from the marina. Wow, that thing is moving fast. There's the fire tower. So yeah, I don't want to get too far away from this. Because it's right there where this camera is. It's like the camera's right there. There's sirens going off here. That could be a test. And it's 11 o'clock. Yeah, that might have been a test for our sirens. Because they do that. Yeah, that looks like there could be some hail in there. Or those are just some real big drops. So as I was mentioning a few minutes ago, and I need to make another pot of coffee. This weather, there's the possibility of severe weather today, tomorrow, and Saturday in this general area. Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, that area, that swath is in the zone for the next few days. Flooding, possibly catastrophic in some areas from all the rainfall. I mean, just think, where does this water, I mean, the rivers overflow, creeks, streams, whatever, roads. I mean, it's a lot. So tonight, Peter Robbins is going to be the guest with Mystical Awakenings on the station at 7 Eastern, if for those interested in like ufology. And the Paranormal Rangers will be on the UAP Crossfire show at 8. And there you can see them on Netflix, on Unsolved Mysteries. They are retired Native American Rangers who worked on the reservation and investigated all kinds of cases. They are fascinating. So that's from 8 to 10 tonight, which I will be working. So you could just look up KGRA on YouTube, or KGRA Digital Broadcasting on Facebook, or KGRA DB on Rumble. On X, it's at Global Radio Live. So there's plenty of places to watch it for free. And that is going to be the new model going forward. There will be no more paid memberships for the station. We're making everything available for free. Everything. So you can see any of these programs. You get the archives. I'm working with others to get all the archives loaded up in YouTube from past shows. A lot of work going on in the background. But there are literally thousands and thousands of shows in the archives. Thousands. Video, Spreaker, audio. Whoa. So if you like that, and it's not just paranormal, there's also talk radio, alternative talk. There's also science, like Mark D'Antonio, who does an amazing job with his telescopes in Arizona. He has his YouTube channel, which is Sky Tour Livestream. For those that are interested in astronomy and want an education experience, excuse me, check out his YouTube, Sky Tour Livestream, or check out his website, Sky Tour. Oh God, he's gonna get me. And I know this by heart, and I just can't. It's not triggering his website, skytourlive.org. I may be wrong. Andy, you might correct me. But Sky Tour live stream on YouTube is probably the best place. And go check it out. If you're really interested in astronomy, you can't go wrong. He just put a new telescope, second one, in Arizona. Arizona is great for the dark sky. There is a system which distinguishes which is the best view, the darkest sky. Obviously, if you lived in a city with the light pollution, you're really at the bottom of that scale for dark sky because you're surrounded by all the lighting. Like here, where I'm at, I'm like in the middle. It's dark, but not like dark in Arizona. There's no cities by me, but it's still not as dark as it is in Arizona. Arizona is like a prime spot for dark sky. Okay, this looks like this storm system, even though, look at that. Where's my mouse? Look at this. It looks like it wants to reach the ground, but look at the rotation. You could see the spin. See this cloud? You could almost see the rotation in the atmosphere. Let's even see if this is still, yeah, that one, it fell apart. This is going to be discontinued soon. This tornado. 6 minutes. That's going to expire. I don't see evidence of it. But there's, like I said, there's still a lot of bad weather out here. Oh, there was another one. Look at that. This is a nasty cell here. Oh yeah, this one. Now is there a camera here? I don't see one. Way down there, but that's too far. It's already passing. That could be a camera. Yeah. It's far. The storm is to the right. But yep, it's pretty active out there already. So these are both expiring. So you could see where it's happening right now in Tennessee and Kentucky. But this is not the only location. There's a lot of stuff going on down to the south. But remember, it's still early. Let's look at the Dallas radar. That one is terrible radar. Terrible. So it's early. These could develop as the morning and afternoon progress. Gotta watch all these areas. Let's look at Little Rock. Look at this. And all of this is heading to the northeast. Let's look at Paducah. It's like the same radars I was hitting yesterday. Look at this. Is there any storm chasers out there? There's a lot of cameras, that's for sure, in here. It's a sensor. These are all cameras. I mean, a lot of these storm chasers had a long day yesterday into the night. So I'm not surprised. Oh, this one just got extended. There are more tornado warnings popping up. There are now 4. These were just issued. This one, I didn't see this one before, but it's there now. Kentucky. That is a nasty cell. Again, it's early. Hail is 3/4 inch. This is just issued. There's a nasty cell up here too. But there's a tornado warning right here. Heading toward Corbin. Possibly Mount Vernon. Actually, they're forecasting this now more to the east. Corbin. Williamsburg. Daniel Boone National Forest. So if you live anywhere in here, especially in the cone and in the box, you need to pay attention and seek shelter. So there's 15 right now. I'm going to see if that number changes. This one's going to expire. 2 minutes, that's going. So is this one. But it's this one that was just issued. So most of the severe weather is happening here. A lot of flooding going on too. South and west of Nashville. That's a camera in that area where the flood warnings are issued. Well, they just changed it a little bit more. The cone, that just changed a little bit. It went up a little bit. Corbin, if you live near Corbin, you need to take shelter. Daniel Boone National Forest. I hope there's nobody camping out in there right now. Now, that's not to say that this is on the ground. It was radar indicated. Regardless, it's a nasty cell. Radar indicated. Hail is 3/4 inch in size. I'm going to stay on this right now because this is going to update. Because this, until I see that. So now those couple of tornado warnings have dropped. It went from 15 to 12. There were 4. There probably is 2 or 1 now. Yeah, 2. So they dropped it. Once it expired. I want to see the latest radar. Now, it doesn't look organized at the moment. So it's unfortunate that there's no camera here so we could observe it and see if there's actual contact with the surface. Because it's radar indicated. Does not mean that it's making contact with the ground. It does not mean that. It's just radar indicated rotation. Oh, what was that? That was the last loop. Moving east northeast. Look how fast. 43 miles per hour. Wow. And that was 11:12. This is an old loop. So we need to find a better radar. That's what that tells me. And there's nothing I see really close to it. This is the one that's being used. These are too far out. Yeah, I thought so. It's too far out. Okay, this one's giving me a little bit more detail. And this is 11:15, so this is 2 minutes ago. And it's changed more to the north of London now. We're still at 12. But like I said, there's a lot of storms out there right now. They're developing. And the other tornado box should be expiring behind it. So, because it started here and it's here now, this box is gonna disappear very soon, because this is gonna be the main one now. So again, nasty out there. And it's early. And there are all kinds of severe weather warning threats for this area. Thursday night, right in here. Tomorrow night. Look at Saturday. This is when the highest risk is here. So there's a moderate risk today. It gets high on Saturday in Arkansas and Mississippi, into Alabama, possibly into Tennessee. And then the flooding threat through Saturday night. Look at this. Right in there. So yeah, this is not good. Look at that. The National Weather Service issued over 700 warnings, third highest ever. And this is that atmospheric river that's going to cause all the flooding. Historic, possibly. Up to 4 months worth of rainfall may fall in less than a week across parts of the central United States, threatening major flooding and endangering lives and property. So again, about that flooding threat. Just up to Saturday night, because it's constantly it's going to be raining. Look at the amount of rain, a foot and a half in here. That's a lot of rain. That's a bad situation. Greatest flood risk right in here. Kentucky, Arkansas, Missouri, Tennessee, right in here. Again, to Saturday night. And there's a lot of moisture coming in from the Gulf that's fueling this. So that's just to give you a little background what the heck is going on. So for those that were monitoring the weather yesterday, the same people should be monitoring it today, tomorrow, and Saturday. Really. 12. And there's nothing. Hold on, I gotta lower this because I know Andy's thing will go off.
Fahrenheit with showers. Today's forecast calls for more of the same, with a high of 69 degrees and a low of 52 degrees.
So they're calling for showers here. So we're not going to get no severe. Matter of fact, let me check the weather for the next 7 days.
Seven days. Thursday, 69 degrees Fahrenheit and showers. Friday, 66 degrees and lots of clouds. Saturday, 48 degrees and showers. Sunday, 62 degrees and showers. Monday, 54 degrees and lots of clouds. Tuesday, 43 degrees and snowy weather.
Snowy?
Wednesday, 47 degrees and intermittent clouds.
What? Snowy weather? What? It's 43 degrees, snowy weather? That's snow? That's not an April Fool's joke. A week after April Fool's Day, they're saying it's gonna snow. Chance of snow. Ain't that lovely? Oh my gosh. But see, no real severe weather here. It's gonna be in the 40s and low 50s. It's gonna be chilly. 60s, 50s, 40s. It's a roller coaster. So here, no. That's more down to the south. Maybe Philly, Washington, D.C. Alexa, what's the weather for Washington, D.C. for the next 7 days?
In Washington, D.C. District of Columbia for the next 7 days. Thursday, 80 degrees Fahrenheit and some sun and thunderstorms. Friday, 71 degrees and thunderstorms. Saturday, 71 degrees and cloudy skies. Sunday, 79 degrees and rainy weather. Monday, 57 degrees and cloudy skies. Tuesday, 52
all right, Alexa,
degrees
stop.
and
So they have the threat of thunderstorms today and tomorrow because they're further to the south. They could get affected by this, but not us. It's actually a low pressure along the front on top of Washington, D.C. right now. So yeah, we'll be keeping an eye on this. It looks like that tornado expired. Yeah, there's the one now. This box still remains. That one expired. So this is the area of concern for today. All the way down to Little Rock. Little Rock is still dealing with a lot of weather. Arkansas is still dealing with a lot. Into Tennessee, into Kentucky. Missouri may be affected a little bit too. Uh-oh. That's funny what somebody just sent me. Okay. And like I said, for those that are watching and live in these areas, you should definitely be paying attention. Not just to the severe thunderstorm risk, but for the flooding. That is a major concern for some of these folks. I'm just checking everything out here. Wow. Okay, I'm clear. All right, getting back to this. So we're at 10. I'm watching that number. I'm trying to see where more of the intense storms are. These are not thunderstorms, but and see if we see any cameras near them. think it's a little bit early for these storm chasers to be out. They're gonna wait. Like I said, they were out for hours yesterday. That's a nasty cell right here. Okay, that's just a data station. A fire tower. Okay, a lot of this weather is heading more to that direction. Oh yeah. Bowling Green. They're in the middle of cells right now. So yeah, there's a lot of activity already out here. This cell is heading toward that camera. This is heading toward Bowling Green. And like I said, it's a little early. Because remember, this is Central Time in a lot of places too, so it's like 10:30 in the morning. So this weather's bad already. But there are no, actually it went down to 10 now. There are no severe thunderstorm warnings and just that one tornado warning that should be expiring soon. Half hour, but let's see what the radar is indicating. That does not look organized. So the box stays up. Pretty much. But there's no, it just dropped. There's a lot of flash flood warning, but there's no severe weather other than that one tornado, and it's shrinking because time is expiring. So right now, thankfully, there is no real severe threat other than that tornado warning, which, to be honest, looking at it, it was radar indicated, they always are on this app. It doesn't look organized. Doesn't mean it's not still giving us some rotation, but I don't know what this is. I'm getting a message. This is what happens. This is work related for tonight. Anyway, so we're at 9, which means nothing new. But I don't like the way that looks though, but you could see when it was though. On the radar loop, you could see this cell, and it's incredible. You could see the rotation. Even in here, there was a spin. You could see the spinning, the rotation in there. And the storms look like they're diminishing as they head east. So that's good. So it looks like the more intensity is to the south. Let me put a radar down here. Let's see, where are we gonna go? Let's try here. Go to Little Rock. There's still a lot of energy going up that way today. So it's stretching from, say, Arkansas. You could see where the activity is going to be. It's just constant flow. A lot of rain here. All this. If I had to put a point on this, it's going to be a lot of rain. And still a risk of severe weather. But this is going to be the constant training of rain. That's why there's all kinds of flood warnings, and now it's going to be about the flooding. And you could see it there, the major flood risk. And this is what, through Saturday night. Look at the flood risk. What does that say? Extreme. Extreme flood risk in that area. And the moderate goes out quite a bit too. High. Just that moist air. And in this area right here, you're talking a foot of rain or more, localized, right in here. Look at this. That's a lot of rain. Greatest flood risk, again, Arkansas, Missouri, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana. It's in the Ohio Valley. So this is potentially really bad now with the rain. Thursday set up. So, and the risk of severe still exists. So this is for today, from Dallas up into Little Rock, into Tennessee. Tomorrow, the same, almost the same exact areas. And the highest risk is Saturday for here, for severe weather. But still, look, the same areas almost. And then the flooding threat that we just looked at. So yeah, this is not good. And we are in the green. There is no severe. Good morning, Nick. There are no, right now, there are no severe warnings, whether it's thunderstorms or tornado. There are flooding warnings, but that's, as far as severe weather, no, not right now. Thank God. Oh, what's up, Daryl? I didn't see Daryl. It snowed here yesterday morning. More snow on the way. Yeah, but you got to remember, you're at the elevation point. The Rockies. That's like Michael in chat. He's in the Berkshires. He's higher elevation than I am. So my 43-degree wet snow on Tuesday might be really dicey for him in the higher elevations in the Berkshires. He might get like snowfall. It'll melt here. It's too warm. And hello to Misty. Actually, there's a few people here. I would have to put my glasses on TikTok. And I will follow you guys back. So, BECS. That almost looks like a music group. I'm looking on the phone right now. So good morning to all of you. Misty, Lena, Mrs. Brierly, Deborah, Roberto, Rachel. I like that name, Bill the Great. I can agree with that one. Veronica. And I'm following you all back, by the way. Jim Jam. Robert. I won't say last names. Super Gremlin. Super Gremlin. Call me K. Danya. If I mispronounce, I apologize. Debbie. Bixet. May and Charles. Well, I don't know. Charlene. Oh, there we go. Well, that took a second for me to figure that out. Charlene. Oh, you got a... Wait a minute. You have a husky, Debbie. I like it. I have a husky too. Nice. So good morning to all of you. Wait, we have new ones. Well, this was yesterday. But Simi. Is that true, Simi, what you wrote in your username? I won't mention the rest of the... I almost choked looking at it. Oh my gosh. What's up, Fringe? Good morning. Oh my God, yeah, prayers for those affected. It's going to happen for the next 48 to 72 hours. Then these, I can't even emphasize from, I would say this whole area, where are we? Actually, where they have it almost outlined. I won't go as far as Dallas, but from Arkansas up into the Tennessee Valley, Kentucky. I don't know how much further north I want to go, but they are in serious flood risk right in here. Because this rain is just going to continue. And yes, there is a risk of severe weather today. So see this? Somebody told me on TikTok this yesterday. You are in a flood risk. Because I saw that earlier. If you live in this area, up to Louisville, you are in a flood risk. This is going to continue for the next few days, the rain. Like every day. It's not even a joke. It's like, look at this. Just what I was just saying. Look at the extreme flood risk in here. But also, you have it high here, moderate. So pretty much this whole area, major flooding threat. And then on Saturday, there's a high risk of severe weather. Again, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, and throughout the area. I mean, this is, you can't discount anything in this area. Let's go back to the top. See? We addressed the flooding. So today, moderate risk in here. So from Nashville, which a tornado was indicated a few minutes ago, like a half hour ago, east of Nashville, there was a tornado warning. All the way through Arkansas, even Dallas, even into Texas, and parts of Louisiana. Right in here. So you have to watch your weather today. But it's not just about the severe weather, it's about the flood risk too now. So isn't it horrible, Fringe? And the bad thing is this is going to continue for the next few days over this almost the same places. And that's bad. If I lived there, if I lived anywhere in this area and I had an opening to go get supplies, I would. Like if I knew that there was, I would watch the radars. I do that here. Like I determined I'm not going bike riding today based on my radar. Because I was going to go. But if I saw my radar and I said, wait a minute, I've got this big cluster approaching me, I ain't going out right now. But if I see a break where I can get to a store and get what I need and get back home, I'm doing it. Because it's going to be bad for the next few days. If that makes any sense. If there's stuff I need, I'm going to get it. Because once there's water on the roads, you do not want to be driving your vehicle in a place where there's a lot of rain going on. There's no way. Ponding. You don't know how deep that is. You get stuck. So many people risk that. What's up, Glacial? So yeah, this is really rough weather here. But thankfully, there's only flood warnings going on. And that's still bad. That's Tennessee. Look at this, Tennessee. All these areas highlighted in green, these boxes, flood warnings. Look at this. We'll probably see a few of these added as the hours and days go by. You're going to see a lot of flood warnings pop up in here. So, not good. No. And I also want to make these folks are inland. They don't have to worry about it. You know, when you start thinking about what comes up in the summertime, that's a whole different ballgame. I'm just going to highlight this one more time for people that might be tuning in that live in these areas. You have severe threats, but you also have a flooding threat. So just remember that. Keep that in mind. I'm going to bring this over here. You can see the tops Look at that. A lot of activity going on here. And it's early. These, like yesterday, it started off kind of quiet, and then by afternoon, evening, it just went. And I can't cover this tonight because I'll be working. But look at this. This will develop over the day time. Look at that, how it stretches. I'm going to put this in motion. This is the future forecast model. So right in here, and definitely here as well, but right in here, they're just going to keep getting that rainfall training. Same places, the rain is just going to keep going over the same places. And that's bad. That's why there's that flood risk. Now, let me see if I can find this. Here's another thing, for not for so much for you folks, but even though you get the remnants of hurricanes, right now, there is water temperatures that are historically above average. Historically. In the Caribbean or Caribbean, even in some areas of the Gulf and the Atlantic. That is not a good recipe leading into the hurricane season. June 1st officially starts. Not saying that we're going to have crazy hurricanes, but I'm sure they're even predicting above average, just based on the sea temperatures. It's not good. I don't see a thing in there, Glacial. I don't see a link. I don't see a link in there to copy and paste. I just see dots, asterisks. But let me go to San Juan, Puerto Rico, because that's the Caribbean. Let me find it. Let's see what their sea temperatures are right now. Puerto Rico. Let's go to San Juan. So they're not that bad. Average is 79.9. The water's 80.3, slightly above average. So that's not bad. Let me go to Havana, Cuba. Havana's on average, so that's a good sign. The temperatures are coming down to average. That's good. Let's see Miami. Miami's right there on average, so these are good signs for water temperatures. Last week they were historically above. They're coming down. That's good. That's good. That's a good sign. And this is what I use. So you can search a location and put it in. It tells you the temperature of the water. So let's just look at the Keys. Okay, hold on. Key West. So they're at 78. They're slightly above normal, average. And you can pretty much get an idea. And this is not really, I'm just using it as an example now. It's April. This is important in August, July, when the hurricane season is starting to ramp up, especially like August. You look at the sea temperatures when you see these systems coming in, because rapid intensification can occur when the water temperatures are warm. That's the fuel. So this is some of the things I observe as these systems, because rapid intensification occurs. But that also depends on wind shear. All kinds of things are included in that. But the core is that water temperature. And there's another interesting thing that's going on now. The warm water is now, and this is science-based, is now been detected to be at a deeper depth, meaning there's more warmer water deeper. When these storms bring it to the surface, the deeper water comes up, there's a lot of warm energy, warm water to fuel it. Because now the warm water is not, say, at this level, it's deeper, which is no good. So there's a lot of different things to look at, but I just wanted to let people know on that. TikTok on your computer. Hold on. Let me look at the phone, Glacial. All right, hold on. There's other news going on. My God, that's a crazy statement. Well, here we go. And hello to Candace. I see it, Glacial. I'm going to go to it now. See, I can't show this on here because it's YouTube. I'm trying to copy the link. And I'm going to look at it on my phone. Paste. Go. I don't know if that worked. All right, let me copy this to Skype. Soon to be Microsoft Teams. I'm gonna check it out, Glacial. I'm trying. To send it to myself so I can look at it here. Oh, wow. I've heard about that you might have an eruption in Alaska. I've seen that. There's people here that cover that stuff. Well, we need to look at that. I'm going to slide this now here. And get rid of this. It's funny because I actually saw that somewhere. Wow. But see, there's some articles that they've been talking about this for weeks. That's why I've seen this. Let me see. Anytime. Let's go to past week. Wow. So this is a recent article where Glacial he resides here in Alaska. Look what's going on there. Let me take myself off camera. So Mount Spur. Well, I didn't know that Alaska was home to more than 140 volcanoes. Nearly 100 of those are active, including Mount Spur, just over 75 miles west of Anchorage. So there's activity here going on. There is definite activity going on here. I cannot watch the videos. I can't do any of that because I'll get in trouble. So this is what he's talking about, and he lives nearby. Mount Spur in Alaska shows signs of impending eruption. Oh my gosh. Scientists are warning residents that Mount Spur, located approximately 75 miles west of Anchorage in the Tordrillo Mountains, may be on the brink of eruption. The Alaska Volcano Observatory announced its heightened alert status after detecting continuous seismic activity and elevated levels of volcanic gases coming from the mountain. So they're closely monitoring this. If an eruption occurred, it would be preceded by additional signals allowing for warnings. Residents in South Central Alaska are being urged to familiarize themselves with potential hazards related to volcanic activity, particularly ash fall, which pose significant risks to both health and aviation. Though immediate nearby resident areas are scarce populated, popular recreational sites in the vicinity could also be affected. And it's all about that movement of that lava, fast-moving mixture of ash, rock, and gas, pyroclastic flow, could lead to dangerous mud flows in the surrounding region. And you can see it. This is serious to pay attention to for these folks here in Alaska. Let me see what you're writing now. Alaska Volcano Observatory. That's Wikipedia. Ugh. Yellow. So that's a yellow advisory. This one. And Spur. Interesting. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait, I don't want to get in trouble. Yeah, I don't want to do this because I can get into some issues. But this is good to have. I'm going to keep an eye on this. I'm going to bookmark it. I will keep an eye on this. And I know people that do streams on volcanoes. I'm sure Bob is aware of this. Oh man, I just got a pain in my leg. Use control and scroll. Really? I'm looking, I'm like kneeling in to look. It's like retarded. I'm like, yellow advisory. I'll keep an eye on this. I will definitely keep an eye on this. You let me know too through TikTok, Glacial. Let me know if anything happens. Please let me know. If the alert rises, you were connected on TikTok. Let me know. Yeah. Like I said, it's yellow. I will keep the possibility it could erupt. That needs to be monitored at this point. Definitely needs to be monitored. But when that goes orange, because it's yellow, they're observing it. And the signs indicate that there is an eruption coming based on the seismic activity. So the USGS is probably involved with this. There's a whole bunch of ways to look at this. You have to look at the seismic activity from that site to see what's going on there and the frequency of the seismic activity that's giving them the signs that an eruption is impending. When that increases with more frequency, because that's what they're looking at, then you really, really can say, I'm going to look up the USGS right now. This is great. Alerts are dropping. What the hell is that? Did you hear that? The dog's not in the room. He's with Mom. And that ain't no mouse. Whatever that was a big sound. Listen, do you hear it? I'm looking at this, but there is seismic activity going on in Alaska. But I'll tell you one thing right now. What the heck is going on in my house right now? Now the sound is coming from my bathroom. But that other area in Alaska is alarming too. Whoa, right here. So there's seismic activity occurring in the area too. And you know what that's part of, right? The Ring of Fire. That's what they call it. That's all part of the Ring of Fire. Where the seismic activity, that's what they call it. But there's some smaller ones in here, but you have to wonder too if this would help set off other activity. Wow. Are you serious? Well, this was a big one here. Where's this? Oh, that's way out. It's pretty sizable. But yeah, that's something to keep an eye on too. The seismic activity. Glacier, you need to pay attention to this stuff. How far, approximately 100 miles, how far away are you from Mount Spur in Alaska? Because that's definitely a concern if you live nearby that. this Mount Spur. I don't know if you're still here, but that is a concern if you live near that. There's so many things going on right now. Just checking the latest that's coming up on Instagram. No, Telegram. Wow. Whoa. A volcano erupted. This is new. Mount, oh my God, I can't read it. Merapi volcano erupts in Indonesia. Spews massive column of ash. And this was this morning. About 3 hours ago. So Mount Merapi. We're going to have to look into that. Talking about volcanoes. I don't even see anything going on here. I think it's not hitting the mainstream yet. It might be 4-3. Yeah, this is coming from over there, but I can't find anything in the mainstream media here. But there's an eruption in Indonesia. 4-3-25. Merapi. So this one's erupting in Indonesia. And I cannot play the videos. But yeah, you're talking about volcanoes. And then that happens. So Indonesia has an eruption right now. Merapi. I want to check one other thing out. I want to look at the overall weather throughout. So Asia's quiet. Let me look at Australia. Nothing. Nothing really significant that I'm noticing. I'm scouring the globe. I don't know if that one's going to affect Spain. Yeah, there's a system coming into Spain, Morocco, tomorrow. Later today, actually. That's the only thing that I see. This system coming on shore in the Atlantic and affecting Spain and Morocco, and France. But looking at the overall picture, you can see where Japan is, Philippines. It's pretty quiet. Australia. There's a low pressure here. That's actually a high pressure. It's clockwise. So it's for weather-wise, I don't see anything like, whoa. Nova Scotia might have offshore a nasty little storm, but that's not now. This is now. Yeah, that system's heading right toward Nova Scotia. Most of the energy is offshore, though. So yeah, weather-wise, it's pretty much this right now in our country. But the good thing, this is green. There's no orange and no red. So no severe thunderstorms or tornadoes at the moment. There are thunderstorms, but not severe level. It's early. Actually, I want to see what the weather is here. I'm not going bike riding at this time. It's too late. Oh, there's no rain out there. I gotta try a different one. Ah, there's no rain here. Alexa, what's the temperature?
Right now, it's 55 degrees Fahrenheit. Tonight, expect a low of 52 degrees.
There's no rain. Though it's damp probably out there. There's no rain. Which way is this moving? It's moving away. There's no rain in the next few hours. See, this is how I do it. Do I go out and go bike riding quick? It's probably really wet outside, which doesn't make it fun because all that splash from the wheels. Let's look outside. See, it's wet. I ain't going out in that. There's the cat. The cat's on the chair. Right there. The feral cat. Excuse me. But it's wet. You could see the ground is wet. I don't want to go out in that. Though it stopped raining, it's still very wet out there. And it's probably damp. I mean, like misty. Like it's not coming up on radar. I don't want to go, but I don't feel like getting dressed to go out in that weather. Heck no. So no bike riding. No way. Not to. The weather's gonna be like a roller coaster here. Warm, cold, snow, rain. It's gonna be bizarre. Alexa, dim living room light. Sorry, Andy.
Okay.
If you're still there. Okay, let's get rid of my camera down. Let's go this side. Matter of fact, I need to make coffee. Oh, another alert. It was 6, probably flood. Where's this one? Tennessee, of course. They're just continually getting this rain. And that is the main threat right now, the rain. Flooding. It's funny because a lot of these places I'm looking on the screen is the same locations people on TikTok were telling me yesterday. And it was moving so fast. Everybody's putting in their location. I'm like, every time I looked, I would just take whatever I see and check. Because it was just like, the flow is wild yesterday. I couldn't keep up. So I was just, whatever I see first, I'll search. Because I do have the pop-out chat for TikTok. So I do see the chat. It's right here. That's TikTok. So I do see. I don't see if anybody's watching or anything, but I have the pop-out. And it was moving really fast yesterday. Everybody wanting to know what the weather was in their location. I tried, like I said, my best. That's why it's good to show these wide angles, because if you know where you live, geographically, you should figure out where these are moving. And you see the lines associated to it. You see these white with the blue dot lines? That's telling you the movement of the storms, where they're heading. See? And it was really bad yesterday. Oh my gosh, it was really bad. I pray that everybody's safe. And I saw that some people, was tragic, actually. So the main concern for this today is there is a moderate chance of severe weather. But right now, anybody that lives from Louisville down to Arkansas, that whole Kentucky, Tennessee, Arkansas, parts of eastern Missouri, right in the Mississippi Valley, all that, you're getting this rain constant for the next few days, where you can have serious flooding. That is the main risk right now, is the flooding, believe it or not. So if you live in these areas and it's nice out, where you don't have to deal with this right now, if you need to get medication, food supplies, and you're in this flooding area that they're predicting to Saturday night, you should go out and get your stuff. Go shopping while you can, because you don't want to be driving in that flood. Flooded roads, whatever. You want to be able to hunker down and just deal with the rain that's happening. Because as I was showing again, for these people that live in this area, there is a high risk of flooding. In some areas, a foot or more of water. It's not me saying it. Oh wow, the number's going up. I don't like that. With the overnight tornadoes, you see that? I'm not gonna click on it. I don't even want to see that graphic stuff on my stream. Oh my God, daylight reveals catastrophic tornado damage across Tennessee. Oh, I don't even want to see that. Look at this. My God. Third highest ever. Look at all that outbreak yesterday. The third highest number of warnings issued in the 24-hour period since 1986. Third highest ever. Storms, rain spread across 1,500 miles with more on the way. This is the flooding risk. But I don't want to see this. I didn't even want to see that part that it said. So this is, they're saying it right here. Up to 4 months of worth of rain may fall in less than a week across parts of the central United States. Look at this. I'm going to make this a little bigger. For those that live in these areas, you need to pay attention. So, if you're in that red, that's extreme. All the way up to Louisville, north of Little Rock. So you can see it. Arkansas, southeastern Missouri, Tennessee, Kentucky. I mean, it's at the extreme corner of Tennessee, the northwest corner. But you could see if you're in these locations, this is to Saturday night. The rain flow is going to continue over the same areas over the next few days, starting yesterday, really. So you're going to have a lot of water to deal with here. If you live in a flood-prone area, you need to prepare for flooding. If you need to go to the store and get supplies while the weather is still decent, do it now. You're going to get this rain for the next few days. It's going to like be a river. They call it an atmospheric river. It's what I was saying yesterday. The storms train over the same, it's like a train. It tracks over the same area. That's what's happening. And a lot of that moisture and heat is causing this interaction with the colder air up north. It's true. It's like a conveyor belt. And here, look at this. Look at this high risk. 12 to 18 inches of water here. That's a lot of flooding. So this is serious. It's not just about the tornado potential or the thunderstorm potential. This is severe with the water risk, flooding. Greatest flood risk, if you're in that area. This is to Saturday night. This is days worth of rain. So if you're in that area and you live in a flood-prone area, you need to prepare. Not to say that it's going to happen 100% sure, but you need to prepare in the event that you do suffer from large-scale major flooding, period. And like I said, the reason I said go to the store, you don't want to be driving into areas where there's ponding on the roads, water. You don't know the depth. And you might think you know, but what if there's a stream or a flow that's interacting with that water and you get swept away? And you take that chance. No, you don't. You're risking your life. See, they're saying it's like a two. You got the possibility of severe storms plus the flooding, so it's double trouble, they're saying. And look at this. Let's read this. And you guys can read this yourselves. Oh my God. Should the amount of rain occur that we anticipate over the middle of the nation, it will exceed 500 to 1,000 year average. Truly, the potential is there for historic flash flooding event. This is serious. It's not coming from me. It's coming from the weather folks themselves. In extreme cases, rainfall rates can be a few inches per hour. Rapid flash flooding. And it's, look at this. Uh-oh. What's going on? I'm doing a live stream on the weather. It's so bad, Warren. It's bad. All right, folks, I'm gonna mute for a second. I've got to take this call, but again, before I mute, I want you to read what's going on in these areas over the next few days. Just look at what they're predicting here. This is very serious. If you live in these areas, you need to prepare and don't go out and drive in this weather. I apologize to those on TikTok, but I have to take this call. It's work related, so I'll be right back. That was a big thing that I had to call. That was work related, business related. I can't, obviously. But thank God there's no severe weather alerts right now. It's in the green, so I'm keeping an eye on that. But I need to make another important phone call. Oh God, that's if he picks up. He's working. I know he is.
Your call has been forwarded to an...
I can't do that number right now. What? What?
I'm making my coffee and all that. I go to my room and who's waiting for me in my bed? Psycho. Okay, Psycho. All right, Psycho. Oh my God.
Okay. That's all done. I have work tonight. It's coming in. It relates to shows and stuff. That's why I've been distracted for a few minutes now. Oh my gosh, it's like crazy. Because that's what I do. I'm the program director for like a paranormal. Okay. Oh my God. So I don't know if anybody on TikTok would even be interested. And right now, weather is calm. You could see it. There's nothing orange or red up on the upper right corner. So there's no real severe weather, just the flooding threat. Yeah, like Fringe said, hydroplaning can be life-threatening to say the least. When you're driving on flooded roads or ponding, that's just dangerous. You don't want to be driving out in this heavy rain. And that's the risk here now. There is a severe risk throughout Saturday, but there's a major flooding risk in this area now too. So that's why I'm emphasizing it. There is still life-threatening situations going on in this area. And there was fatalities in Tennessee last night from the tornadoes. So you have to be so careful. It can be simply water on a road and you try to drive through and you get caught and washed away. Water is very dangerous too. So you need to keep an eye if you live in these areas with the weather. And basically that's what's going on. Little Rock and Tennessee, and not Little Rock, Arkansas, but around Little Rock. It was unbelievable how it was the third highest warnings in history, recorded weather history for the country. Third highest ever for the amount of warnings that were popping up. That's unbelievable. So there's a risk factor in here today for severe weather. Right in there. You can see where they have it outlined for today. It's a small area, but still, there's an area for severe weather. Flooding, all kinds of stuff going on. So don't put your guard down if you live in these areas. Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky. You're still from Louisville down south. Definitely here, I saw that on the warning. If you live next to this Cape area, you are under risk of high flooding. So the major look, look at this area. Greatest flood risk. Right in there. And Louisville is in there. Nashville, Arkansas, Little Rock, this whole area. Missouri, down here. Even as far north as St. Louis. And then this is heavy rain at times as far north as Detroit, PA, Pittsburgh. I mean, this is even northwestern Louisiana, northeastern Texas. It's a big area of significant rainfall and flooding. And this goes to Saturday night. So that's another thing to deal with. Flooding in unprotected areas. The major areas most likely to have significant water level rises include the Ohio, Miami, Scioto, I'm probably mispronouncing this, Wabash, White, St. Francis, Kentucky, and Tennessee. Surges also likely on the lower portion of the Mississippi rivers. The Ohio contributes more water to the main stem than the upper portion of the Mississippi. Look at this. In addition to flooding, high, fast-moving water could affect tug and barge operations. It could take several weeks for the surge to cycle through to New Orleans. And there it is. Motorists who utilize secondary roads in the heavy rain zone should be prepared to seek alternative routes. Property owners should be prepared to take preventive action with the risk of evacuation in some communities as waters rise. So it's a lot of possibility of flooding here Look at this. Some roads and bridges may be washed away or underwater. The same setup will lead to multiple days of severe thunderstorms in the central states. Additional rounds of severe storms and tornadoes will be in store for a portion of the Mississippi and Ohio valleys into the weekend. Some communities could be both under a tornado warning and a flash warning at the same time. That's horrible. So it's still a high risk situation. And like I said, it was historical. It was historical in nature. And I don't know if they're going to put it here. The amount of warnings that was going on. And that's horrible. I don't even want to get into the details of that at all. But I seen that it was the third highest. And look at the snow in the northern tier. We're supposed to get a chance of snow here on Tuesday. And that goes into other stuff. But I believe it was the third highest. I read it somewhere. You can search it. Third highest historical weather warning. Let's see if it comes up. No. Because it was NOAA. But it's not coming up. Let me go back to AccuWeather. And let me minimize this screen back to normal. Okay, spring weather. Let's see. That's just location, top stories. The blog is probably where it's going to be. I don't want to read that. I don't want to get into the more morbid aspect of it. There it is. National Weather Service issued over 700 warnings, the third highest ever. Look at all those warnings yesterday. That's unbelievable. That's why when we were doing this on TikTok yesterday, and I couldn't believe the amount of stuff that was happening. Because I'd never seen it before. And I was saying it yesterday. I've never seen this before, ever. And now I know why. Because it was historical. It was the truth. When it was happening, and some of you might have been there yesterday, I was like, I've never seen this in my life. And I've been covering weather a long time. I've never seen this. And there's the reason. Because it's the third highest in history of the warnings popping up. At one point, Arkansas, at like 6 o'clock my time, tornado warnings just appeared like everywhere. It all just popped up, and I was like, oh my God. And you could see the way the cells were, and it looked, it was all over Arkansas, and then it was moving into Tennessee. It was unbelievable to see, to witness. From a weather perspective, it was very unusual. And the number of tornado warnings, 284, was also third highest, behind March 2nd, 2012, and April 27th, 2011. And remember, when I was streaming it, we had that tornado emergency appear on the screen. I didn't see two. Two tornado emergencies were issued. One crossing from Arkansas into Missouri Wednesday evening, another one crossing in Mississippi Thursday morning. I wasn't awake for that one. But we did see the other one on TikTok and everywhere else. We seen that one pop up. 27 tornado reports were received. So there was 3 EF0s, which I've experienced, an EF2 in Cooper County and an EF1 in Vernon. Those are the confirmed ones that they actually went out and confirmed by the damage what kind of a tornado it was. And like I said, the risk of severe weather still exists till Saturday night. The risk of flooding is what really is the issue. Because right now, it's all flood warnings. There's no severe weather. But you've got them in Tennessee, Kentucky, Arkansas. You could see where they are. And these are the same areas that you've got the warning for high risk of flash flooding. So you're going to see that a lot. Kentucky, Tennessee, Arkansas. In the next few days. You're going to see a lot of these flash flood warnings happening because of the constant rain coming over. So please be careful out there. It's not just the lightning and the other threats. It's the water. I'm getting more messages. Okay, clear. So, and it's funny because, not funny, I just got a notification, a weather notification. It's loading now. It's leading me right back to here about this information. It's crazy. I just got the notification. I clicked on it. It brought me right to here. That's crazy. It's like I'm talking about it and I'm getting notifications about it. But yeah, the flooding. So if you live in these areas, it may not be now, but your forecast for the next few days is heavy rain. And there's still a severe risk embedded in this. So you can only imagine. Like this, is this camera working? I mean, it's a lot of rain going on here. Look at that car. You can see all the water already. Standing water. Drainage can only handle so much. Because where does it usually go? Into the rivers, and when all that's backed up, that's when the flooding really starts. So, you know, it can only, the infrastructure can only handle so much before it's overwhelmed. It's as simple as that. I mean, really, you're getting historical rain, months worth of rain in a few days. The infrastructure isn't built for that. And this is just one area camera that's showing you the rain and what's going on. This is going to keep continuing. You're going to have this rain over the same areas. It's training. It's going over the same areas. And it's really starting in Arkansas. That's where it's, and even Texas. Even in Texas, I'm going to look at Dallas. I want to look more to what's going on here. There's some rain here. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not like what's happening up here near Little Rock in Arkansas. And they've been getting pounded for hours and hours. And you got to watch any of these storms turn severe. Like, that's a nasty cell. I'm trying to see if we can get a camera near some of these locations. Let's try this radar. There's a camera right in here, I think. Oh my gosh, can't even see. Look how heavy it's raining. It's coming down. They're in a heavier pocket of rain. Maybe some lightning going on too, thunder. But, I mean, that's right in the middle of it. A heavier. Look at that. So this is the kind of weather you're going to deal with for the next few days. Constant heavy rain. Scottsville, Kentucky. And you could see how it's just continually over the same areas. Look at Louisville up here. Let's put this in motion. Look, the same areas, getting the same, and it just keeps developing. Look at this, it just keeps reinforcing. The line is all the way down here, and it just fills in, and it's going over the same areas. There was a tornado earlier. If we put this in a longer loop, hold on, it's down here. Frames. Let's do 100 frames from earlier. It's got to load. Look, just look at what's going on over the same areas. Look at all the rain sitting over the same areas. It's crazy. They're just continually getting the rain over the same areas. This is what makes this dangerous for flooding. So, if you live in these areas, you should definitely be prepared for it. And like I said, Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, and southeastern Missouri. And this isn't showing you the Little Rock radar, but Arkansas has been getting a lot of rain too. Let's put this in a loop down here. Look at this. It's like a non-stop continually formation of rain that just keeps forming and moving northeast. We could even put this in a longer loop. I keep doing that. It's down here. Okay, let's stop, because otherwise it's gonna go crazy. Let's do 250 frames, so this is gonna show us a longer duration of time. This is 250 frames. So it's going to start at, you could see, all right, so it's going to now, starting at like 10 a.m. So the last few hours. And you could just see how it's just constantly filling in and going over the same places. It keeps developing more showers and storms, and it keeps flowing in the same places. I'm trying to load this radar. Let's look at this one. This is a few hour loop. This is hours and hours from last night. Look what's happened over the last, oh my gosh, look at this. This is from going in from last night. Oh my God. Look at those storms from last night. Look at that line toward the south by Nashville. So see how the rain and the storms are over the same areas? That's why. Now, I wasn't up last night at 1 o'clock in the morning, but there was still some rough storms moving through. Especially here. And this is probably why we're seeing the result of the tragic news. Look at this. Look at these tornadoes. That's all tornadoes. You could see the rotation around them. Look especially in here, near Nashville. These are strong storms. But watch this line that developed. Right here. Look, there's so much rotation in there. So yeah, this gives you an idea of what this area has been dealing with over the last 12, 13 hours. Terrible. Actually, this loop started at 12:13 a.m. this morning. You could see those cells. Just look at this. You could see the rotation, and you see those purples. Look at that. 1, 2, 3. There's a bunch in here. Another one here. I'm trying to correct the. For some reason, I'm gonna have to refresh it. I'm gonna have to cut this out because it's. I put it at 30 frames, but it's still doing it at 250. And this is now. So, exactly, Astro. Oh my gosh. So again, the threat for flooding probably is more of a scarier threat right now than anything is scary. Severe weather. But right now, the flood risk is very high here. Like if I was to pull up a piece of information regarding hurricanes, and I don't want to get too deep on this, but it makes the point. Because it's kind of an analogy to use. This wants me to subscribe. I'm looking at see, this is not what I'm looking for. Wow, this thing is still zoomed in. Why? Okay. This is just to give you an idea. When you deal with hurricanes, loss of life from hurricanes, tropical storms, and tropical depressions are more likely from water, not wind. 7 of the 8 people that from cyclones from 1963 to 2012. Hold on, Eric, I'm live. Were either from storm surge, rainfall, flooding,
30 minutes?
or high surf. So you could.
Wait, what?
I'm talking to them on TikTok and everything.
Oh, sorry.
Hold on. So now you see what the number of risk is due to water related. That's why flooding is really bad. So Gabby just put a bunch of stuff in there in TikTok, and she says it's going to dump basically hurricane water. It will flood bad. Flood for sure. It's not letting up at all. Landslides possibly too if you're in the mountains. Absolutely right. And Gladys said that. If you know your land, get higher up. There should be safer places you can go to. What do you say about a foot of water? Yes. Localized. Foundations can't withstand that water in this area. They aren't built like Florida. So Gladys just said that in TikTok. All right, I'm going to mute a second because I have a work-related call. I'll be right back. All right, I have an emergency meeting in less than a half hour. But getting back to what you're saying, I will show you the flood areas again because this is so important. And if it's not flooding now and the weather looks somewhat, do never drive into an area that looks like it's ponding. Remember, hydroplaning is dangerous too. But if you need to get supplies and medication before this, because this is not going to end till Saturday night. And it's like I just showed on the radar, the same areas are getting pummeled with this rain over and over, and this heavy rain, where potentially you could get inches of rain in less than an hour. And that is not an exaggeration. So let's put this up again. The high risk areas. It's this atmospheric river. And I'm going to make this larger so people can see this themselves. So here is your major flooding threat. But throughout the whole area, but this is really from Louisville down. So pretty much Arkansas, northern, into Kentucky, Tennessee, over here, Missouri, this whole area. You are at high risk. And if you look at some of the rainfall amounts here that they're predicting. In this area here, 12 to 18 inches of water. 12 to 18 inches of water. Look at the chart. And then over here, it's 8 to 12 in a large area. So of up to a foot of rain, water, in this area right here. And then you got the 4 to 8. And as you can see, the graph, the chart, and localized can be heavier than that. It can be heavier. This is historical rain. Absolutely, Gladys. Absolutely. And yes, it goes all the way up into the Ohio Valley. I mean, even for areas that are flood prone, it doesn't take much water. 2 to 4 inches can cause major flooding. It doesn't have to be a foot. I'm just trying to read everybody. Yes, there's a they call it an atmospheric river because a lot of the energy is coming from the Gulf, and there's a storm system to the north, but it's not moving fast, and it's bringing in that colder air. So the clash of the temperatures and the moist air that's in place, and since the storm is not moving fast, it's like stalled, so you get this atmospheric river. That's a different story. That's the setup on the weather itself. That's a little different. There's not much of a conspiracy behind this. It's just the way things are working out on the map. And it's because of this constant flow that's been coming in right here in the Gulf. And you have this system, believe it or not, in Canada that's taking its time to move away. And you have this setup. And it's taking its sweet time to move. And look at the continual flow from the Gulf coming in. And the high pressures are responsible for that because it's helping swing and bring that warm, moist air up into this region where there's colder air sitting. And the clash is causing a lot of this disturbance in the atmosphere. Look at this Gulf moisture. It's not letting up. As long as this flow continues, you're going to have that. And this is not going to subside. This is Friday. This is Saturday. Look at this. It's a constant flow from the Gulf. This is energy feeding this. And then there's another system driving in colder air. So there's going to be a clash. And then Sunday, it starts to move more to the east. It's shifting more to the east. And then finally by Monday, it subsides. Even though there's another system way up in the northern area where they could get snow here. This could be a snowmaker for them up here. For sure. Temperatures are favorable for snow here. But that's not what we're talking about. So it's how it's setting up. It's all about that. So it's just the way it's set up. It's horrible. And I agree with Gladys. It's a land hurricane in the mountains. And remember what happened to the Carolinas during the hurricane in the mountainous area. Yeah, but again, Astro, it's just what's going. What I saw yesterday when I was streaming live, what all those tornadoes spawned in Arkansas. And remember, those are radar indicated. That doesn't mean that they're touching the ground. They're radar rotation. Until they go out and actually observe any damage sites, that's when they can survey that this actually touched ground and was an EF 0 or 2 or 3 or whatever. They have to confirm that. Just because it says radar indicated doesn't mean it's reaching the ground. But look at this. Look at this large area. This is a large area of flooding, especially in here. And like Gladys said, the mountainous areas, landslides, mudslides, everything. No, Gladys, it's okay. You're putting in actually important information as a person that lives there. You know, from a person, I always say this, from a person from the outside looking in, they don't know what's going on. And that's general across the board on anything. People can't tell me what's going on here if they don't live here. They don't know. They're talking from the outside. They're getting their information from the media or whatever other sources. But do they truly know what's going on in your community? Are they there? No. Only the people that experience things that go on in their communities can honestly speak about what's going on. Not people from the outside and putting their opinions in based on something they see on mainstream media. I can't stand that. People that know what's going on in their communities are the ones that can speak about it clearly, and because they're experiencing it directly. Now, from a person like me looking at the models and stuff, I can only gauge it from the outside, looking at all this information, the data and stuff, but I'm not there. So, I mean, it's clear. It's very clear the danger risk here. And it is very serious for the next few days. Now, there's a lot more flood warnings popping up. No severe alerts. There's a lot more flash flood warnings coming on the screen. Tennessee takes up the majority. Kentucky, excuse me, takes up the majority. You could see it. Tennessee is definitely taking the vast number of these flood watches. Look at this. Tennessee, Kentucky, Tennessee, Kentucky, Tennessee. One Arkansas, two Arkansas. But the vast majority, even Missouri and Kentucky. So I would say Tennessee 1, Kentucky 2. Right now, with all these flash flood. And I think, look at this, 5 hours, 4 hours, 2 hours. I mean, these are extended. That's the latest one. For the next 5 hours. Because the atmospheric river, let's call it, or training is going over the same areas. It's really Lexington, Louisville. Look at this. It's the same area. But this goes, like I said, all the way down to Arkansas. Not good. And they're predicting this to go on for the next 48, 60 hours. So who knows? Who knows? But people can only, you can only take whatever forecasted models. A lot of people ignore them like they do in hurricanes. I'd rather be prepared than not. Period. I would rather prepare for the worst and hope for the best. Because if you don't prepare, then you're caught. It makes no sense to me. What happened? That's another thing. For another great point Gladys makes. When the ground is dry, the water runs off of it. It doesn't get absorbed. It falls so fast. The ground doesn't have time to absorb it. So it runs. That's another great point. So Gladys, you're making excellent observable points in there. Because that is true. Another thing too is when you have constant rain and the ground is saturated, when you have windy conditions, that can make the uprooting of trees a concern now. Down trees, because the ground is so saturated, the roots. Gusty winds can take these trees down. Power lines can come down. Power outages. Especially if you live in a area like Gladys is talking about, mountainous areas, a lot of trees. power outages widespread. There's so many factors to think about. And there's so many high risk things that can happen in these kind of storms. You have to think of all those things and put all those pieces together. So I hear you. I hear you. And I cannot relate, but I understand your point. So Gladys says, I follow weather a lot after what happened in Western North Carolina. We remember what happened there. It was devastating. And it shook me, to be honest. How could it not? It's shock. It's like you're in shock. And a lot of people say, this could never happen to me, until it does. And then you're like, oh my God. Because a lot of people do that. Oh, this will never happen to me. Then it does. And you're like, wow. When that EF0 hit nearby, I never thought a tornado would affect me here. But it did. And I was in that same situation. I was like, I'll never, Oh, yes, it did. Until it happens to you, that's when you understand the impact, the shock. And it really does affect you. It can affect you in so many ways. You may know somebody who got hurt or worse. Loss of property, materialistic things. But life is what's most vital. You can't replace that. And then, if it's in your neighborhood and you're surveying all your neighbors and all the damages to your communities, it's like, oh my God, what do we do? There's so many ways to look at these things, And I've been studying weather a long time, and I showed the statistics because a lot of people, they don't want to believe certain things. And everybody has the right to their opinion. But when you look at the data and the numbers, like here, I studied the numbers for the last decade. It is definitely getting warmer in our winters here. The weather is definitely getting more extreme. Blame it on whatever you want to blame it on. Planets going through a cycle, solar cycle, whatever you want to say. The point is it's happening. I don't care what your explanation is or denial of. The point is, it is happening. Oh, but it's still snowing in North Dakota. When it stops snowing in North Dakota, we have a problem. Because that means that Arctic air that comes down is not happening as much as it should be, or as cold as it should be. Then we have a problem, a real serious one. So when I hear people say, oh, but it's snowing here, it better be. You just don't understand the whole weather pattern for the globe, the planet. You think it's just because it's normal in your area. What about the rest? What about the rest of the patterns that are going on? Or sea temperatures rising? Or the melt? There's so many things. So it's not that simple. I wish it was simple. But you always have these people that are coming out with other things and they just don't want to admit to the data, the actual scientific data, numbers. When jellyfish start practically melting from the heat near Miami, where the temperature's hitting offshore almost 100 degrees, we have a problem. Not jellyfish, starfish. We have a problem. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to exaggerate things, but I can show you the numbers of my winters 10 years ago to my winters now. And people here this year were like, oh my gosh, it's so cold out. Well, guess what? That's supposed to be normal. Not as spoiled as we've been over the last few years where it's 55 degrees on New Year's Day. January is our coldest month. It's like warm outside. Do you know how many times I used my snowblower this year? Once. And I'm in higher elevation in the Hudson Valley, New York, 100 miles north of New York City. This is supposed to be a lot of snow here. We're supposed to get 36 inches of snow on average. We haven't even gotten close to that in the last 8 years. So something's going on. It's not just like a freak one year. It was warm. No. If you look at the numbers, there's a pattern here of the numbers slowly averaging higher. The threshold is going up. It's not doing this and then down and this straight down. No. You might have a bump where it's normal like this year, but the trend over the last 10 years is like this, up. I've never heard of that. So when you look at things from a data point of view, science point of view, and some people in science are still in denial for I don't know why, whether it's political or something else. But it puzzles me. And it's funny because if a scientific branch comes out and goes against what they think and say, then they say that this is fake. Because it doesn't fit their agenda, their narrative, their opinion. Oh, it's so crazy. And I'm puzzled by it. It puzzles me. And please do not defund the things that people depend on for weather because it saves lives. Please don't. That's a topic for a whole different time. But there's a whole study, and it would be considered denial. And believe me, this is being changed now. These type of websites are being redesigned for a certain reason. They're taking a lot of the information out now. This was different. The raw numbers and the information that was available is slowly disappearing. And I can't understand that because the public should be informed. But it's changed. I wish I would have saved a screenshot of this from a year ago. It's actually pretty incredible that even here, this has changed. Oh my God. I mean, let me see if this one's still changed. Let's look at this one. Let's see if they still have the NASA climate change study. Let's see. I'm very curious. Then I got to go into an emergency meeting. NASA did a big thing on this. Let's see if this one's still intact. This one looks, we're moving. A little different in the coming months. Look at that. It's saying it. Look at it. We're moving. NASA's Global Climate Change website is going to look a little different in the coming months because we're heading into a new home. A more integrated portal or on sciencenasa.gov. Keep your eyes for the new space, of our new space as we transition. Why are you transitioning? Why? You're going to provide different information? In the next few months. Do you see what's going on across the board? These are the subtle things that are going on. To remove it, to get rid of the information and change the whole narrative. Education, science, data. Because it doesn't fit the narrative. Keep an eye on stuff like this. It's happening all around us right now. This is a sign in plain English on the screen. This used to be a big page on showing you all the science data before, after, temperature graphs. It's gone. It's gone. This is, you see these charts? This is where they used to show it. Let's just see. Hopefully it opens it up. But this used to be a whole page. They didn't look like that. It was more detailed. What is it, Mom?
How is the tornado stuff?
It's calmed down, thank God.
Like handle.
See the record heat. Five factors explain the record heat in 2023. No, explain to me the record heat in the last decade. See, they're changing their analysis. Now they're talking about like, oh, well, we're going to talk about last year and explain to you what happened last year or 2023. Not over a period of time. We're going to pick and choose and explain it to you. Historically, what's going on? How do we know climate change is real? So we have to be very careful moving forward, because slowly but surely they're taking little things out. And this is serious. Education, science, they're so important. Not conspiracy, rumor, speculation, opinionated. We need factual, science-based data, not someone's agenda or a conspiracy theory. Ain't working for me. So just to put all that into context, when it comes to something like this, we need the information in real time. It saves lives. If you start to take information that can help save lives and prevent situations from occurring because of lack of information, that's a bad thing. That's just bad. That should not happen. Not in this country. It should not happen. I mean, really. Unacceptable. And no one should accept it. And then the young generation, it's going to be on you. Forget about people my age and all these older people that are in control of government. It's going to be up to you to change the future. It really is. It's going to be in your hands. Because you see what we're doing, you're going to have to make change to make the betterment. Because look what's going on around us right now. Who's in charge? Who's the class that's in charge? Who are the people that represent us in Congress? It doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican, but look at what's going on. I hope that you see and observe what's going on and find ways to make things better for our future, for your kids' future. Because I don't want to say any words, but this is a blank show. What's going on now? It's a blank show. This is not the way. When I was young, this was not the way it was. This is only like in the last 10 years that it's gotten so crazy. The rhetoric, the talking down on people. And I don't want to spin this into a political thing, but you need to be observant. You need to be proactive. You need to be involved. And you cannot let stuff go by and let it happen. You have to raise your voice. Because they'll just take it away. And if you don't say anything, they're going to continue taking it away. Bottom line. But, yeah, Gladys, I agree with you. And now, as far as the weather, because I got to go into an emergency meeting right now. There's no severe threat right now. There's a lot of flash flood warnings. Rain is going to be the worst threat in the next few days for Kentucky, Western Tennessee, central, western, northern Kentucky, southeastern Missouri, Arkansas, pretty much, it's widespread. It's hard to pinpoint. A lot of rain is going to be training in these areas. Flooding is your risk for the next few days. There is still the possibility of severe weather during this period of time. So don't discount that. It's not as it was yesterday, but Saturday could be another high risk for Arkansas, Tennessee for tornado activity. There's still, like I said, there still could be embedded strong thunderstorms throughout the next few days, but there's a high risk factor for Saturday, for even Alabama, for Arkansas, Tennessee, and parts of Alabama. Saturday is when the high risk elevates again. Right now, it's a moderate risk. And I'll be back later, but I need to go to an emergency meeting, and I apologize to those on TikTok for ranting and getting a little bit off, but it's important. Science is important. Information is important. Data like this is important. We can't allow this to go away. It saves lives. It prevents the loss of life. It helps people. It helps people prepare. Some people don't like to prepare, but there are people that do, like me. So everybody just reach your own conclusions on what's going on. Do what's best you think for you, your family, for your neighbors, your community. That's what matters. Do what's best for you and the safety of and the preventative measures that you can take and the precautions and the preparedness. That's what it's about, especially in a life-threatening situation like this. Bottom line. Keep an eye on your local news, forecast, law enforcement authorities. In the event of an emergency situation, you need to pay attention, especially with this flooding. Seek higher ground. Be careful with mudslides and everything else that's associated in the mountainous areas. Roads being washed away. All those things that come. You guys know that better than I do. And Gladys, I want to thank you. What do you want to know about the upper West Virginia? Tell me a specific location, because I got to go right now. Tell me a specific location, Gladys. Before I go, I could search it. I'll do it for you. And thank you for your input. It was rational, logical, helpful information. You did not hog up TikTok. You provided very important information in there. Hardy County. Never apologize for that. And I'll try to get to the one person that wanted to know about Nashville. And then I'm out till later. Okay, so you're right on the edge of this. And you are in that flood zone. You know that. Because it extends all the way up to Detroit, really. But you are in that area. But you see this, the box here? You're right near it. This is really where the high risk is in this area. But you're right there. So you need to pay attention. You need to pay attention. You definitely need to be on point. Keep an eye. And I'm going to do one more for Soul Wave. Is it Soul Wave Healing? Nashville. Then I got to go. Soul Wave Healing. If you're into like that kind of stuff, a medium or stuff, let me know. Because I run a station that we had mediums, we have shows. Like if you ever seen the movie Conjuring, Andrea Perrin, I produce her show. I've told other people that have come into TikTok, if you're interested in being a guest on the show, I can make it happen. For real. This is for real. Nashville, you've been getting hammered. Last night, you must have had a rough night in Nashville. I was looking at it. Oh my gosh, there was a tornado east of Nashville this morning. You definitely need to pay attention to your weather in Nashville. You're in that flood zone area. You definitely need to pay attention in Nashville. You're in that area. You're in the warning area. And for severe weather today, that red possibility, you're right there. You need to pay attention to your weather in Nashville, whoever you are. I will be back later. I have to go to an emergency meeting right now. I will be back later. I will provide you my work email where you can contact me. Don't put any of your private information in that chat room. I'll put mine. But I'll do it later because I gotta run. To Lisa, to all these people that are coming in, Cameron, Gladys, hopefully be safe, everybody. Gladys, again, thank you for what you did. And anybody who's coming in, I'll be back in a little while. I gotta go to a meeting. But all of you, please be safe. Blessings to all of you, your families, your neighbors, your communities. Just be safe out there. And pay attention to your local authorities, weather, law enforcement, whatever it is. If you're in this flood-prone area or in the severe area, please pay attention to your local news, because that's the best place you're going to get information. And if you can, download a weather app, whatever it is, on your phone so you get weather alerts and warnings on your phones directly. That's important. Go to weather.com or AccuWeather or whatever app you want to use. Even from your local news channel, they might have an app, a weather alert from your local news. Check in on your local news. Get an app. Get that warning. Get that advisory, because it's very important. All right, I'm out. I'll be back in a little while.